everybody. Welcome back to the best coin news channel on YouTube. I'm sonofasilverstacker. In today's Numismatic News and Information for the 19th day of December 2023, I'm going to welcome you over to moneymetals.com so we can check out those live spot prices, as well as the premium and availability for the 23 American Silver Eagle. After that, we'll bump over the United States Mint bullion sales. And then we got a really special one for you today about the Native American dollar that drops January 29th, 2024. And it is about the Native American or the American Indian Citizenship Act. And then we'll get over to those plus ones. But before that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're new here, we're trying to get to 10,000 subs. That's right, 10,000. That way we can open up the Son of a Silver Stacker's official YouTube store, selling the official merchandise right there. And I believe when I go to the fun show, I'm going to tape one of these stickers to my chest. That way you know it's me. Now, let's get to it. Over here to moneymetals.com. Gold is down 70 cents to 20.37.15. Silver up a dime to 24.13. Platinum down 4.30 to 9.58.40. Palladium down 3.40 to 12.17.20. You're looking at an in-stock American Silver Eagle whose premium is $7.99. And you can buy those for $32.12. And you can, well, sell them back to these folks for $25.69 each. Now, over here to the bullion sales. Sales totals by month are updated every weekday by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. No new tail-to-tail for December, although we did get some numbers, which is better than nothing, right? Now, over here to the United States Mint product schedule for 2024. And like I said, we're going to be talking about the Native American $1 coin for the 2024 rolls, bags, and boxes. Look at all those product options. That's incredible. It's probably the most out of any mint product ever, I think. Now, here we are. Now, it doesn't really say what the limit is for each one of these particular products, whether it is the 250 coin box, the 25 coin roll. When I say limit, I mean how many they made, because it would be interesting to find out how many they actually make for the year of 2024. So 100 coin bags and so on and so forth. Look at that. 117.50, the 250 coin. Yep, $289, and the $25 coin roll, $34.50. Now, here we go. Look at the coin over here. It says the United States of America. It's got $1. It is Indian. It's about the Indian Citizenship Act. I can't even speak. The Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. And guess what? This year happens to be 2024. So it's actually the 100th anniversary of the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. And I was thinking to myself, I said, wouldn't it be interesting if the coin actually said the 100th anniversary of the Indian Citizenship Act? Yeah. And I'm like, well, at what point did this Indian Citizenship Act become a law, or when was it at least talked about in the United States government? Well, remember this date right here, January 29, 2024, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, this is coinnews.net, and this is by Mike Unser, dated December 18th. That was just yesterday. And it says here, the United States Mint released images of the 2024 Native American $1 coin. This coin's design commemorates the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924, which granted U.S. citizenship to all non-citizen Indians born in the territorial limits of the United States without requiring them to forfeit their tribal identity. So they could get dual citizenship, right? That's amazing. Now, here we go. Native American dollars feature annually changing reverses that celebrate contributions made by Indian tribes and individual Native Americans to the history and development of the United States, all right? Now, designed and sculpted by U.S. Mint medallic artist P.B. Hemphill, the $24 reverse shows an eagle staff, the American Indian symbol of respect, honor, and patriotism, together with the American flag, so Native American, right? Now, to represent the dual citizenship of Native Americans. Around the image are inscriptions, United States of America, $1, and Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. And like I said, they easily could have done some image that said is the 100th anniversary, but they didn't. I'm not sure why. Now, it says the design was selected from among 10 candidates with support from several stakeholders and was the second preference by the total vote count of the Citizens Coinage Advisory Committee. The recommended design by the Commission of Fine Arts and the CCAC was candidate number 8. I believe that one's number 8. However, I believe they picked number 1, or, well, maybe that, I think it was number 1, actually. Yeah, that one's it. Yeah, they went with the first one and not the number 8 selection. And that's interesting, but none of these, if you look at it, have the 100th anniversary of this particular act at all. None. Zero. Isn't that something? Now, it says authorized under Public Law 11082 and introduced in 2009, the U.S. Mint's Native American $1 coin program has celebrated all of these different contributions and honoring these individuals. And it has pictures of each coin, reverse and obverse, going all the way back to 2009. What's your favorite design? Now, it says here, this is the common obverse design. Verses, that's the head signs of Native American dollar coins, share the same portrait of Sacagawea as designed by sculptor Glenna Goodacre. The familiar image has been around since Sacagawea gold and dollar debuted in 2000. Inscriptions around Sacagawea read "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." There she is right there. Now, the edge inscription indicates the year of issue, mint mark, and the Mono E Pluribus Unum. So that's a 2019 Philadelphia mint. And that's actually a really great strike right there. I don't know that they're all looking that good. Now, it says here, upcoming U.S. Mint 2024 dollar products. Native American dollars have not been released into circulation since 2011. And now, that's not necessarily true, at least for the the United States. However, back when I think it was Peretrovich, Native American dollar were actually put into circulation in Alaska. So I think that was the last time, and I think that was 2020, if I'm not mistaken. The U.S. Mint manufactures them solely for numismatic products sold here. The first U.S. Mint products with the 2024 dated Native American dollars will be available for order on January 29th. Options will include what I've talked to you and showed you already. Let me see the Peretrovich. I think it's right over here. That's right, the 2020. And that one honored Elizabeth Peretrovich, and that was in Alaska. So those were actually in circulation in Alaska, and I think that's really cool. And what if, if it features coins from certain states or tribes from certain states or regions, that they were actually, distributed in those areas. I think that would be something. Now, over here, this is basically all the images here, all 10. Which one is your favorite? So we have 1, 1A, 2, 2A, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Honestly, I do like 8. I think it's amazing. The Native American action on that one is really clean. It's beautiful. Love those feathers. Really great depiction of the feathers. Obviously, they went with number 1. What do you think? Let me know. Now, let's get down to what the Indian Citizenship Act is and what year it was enacted, or at least what month it was enacted in 2020 or in 1924. Yeah, that one. Now, it says here, this is the Indian Citizenship Act. I don't know why this is here. It won't go away, but that's all right. We'll keep on keeping on. It says the Citizenship Act of 24. That's the Indian citizenship. Because doesn't it feel weird saying Indian and not Native American? It doesn't roll off the tongue that well. Now, it was an act of the United States Congress that granted U.S. citizenship to the indigenous people of the United States, while the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution defines a citizen as any person born in the United States and subject to its laws and jurisdiction. The amendment had previously been interpreted by the courts not to apply to Native peoples. Why is that, you ask? Well, that's a great question. Now, it says this was approved on June 2nd, 1924. There it is again, effective June 2nd, 1924. And it was introduced to the House February 22nd, 1924. Now, I think the Mint could easily have dropped this coin on February 22, or even June 2nd, 2024, right? I mean, think about it. Did I say February 22, 1924? Either way, the United States Mint could easily have dropped this coin on some kind of special ceremony, during the time period that it coincides with the 100th anniversary of either it being signed into law or introduced to the House. Now, over here, we have President Coolidge. He stands with 4 Osage Indians at a White House ceremony. So they've already done the ceremony here before, and I'll go ahead and open that one up in a new tab. I think that's it. Whoops, I think did I get it? Yeah, there it is right there. What if the United States Mint did this as, a ceremony at the White House, or something of that nature with the Osage Indians? I mean, that's 100 years later. Wouldn't that be something? I think it's remarkable. Now, let's get down to the facts right here of why the Indians were not considered citizens. It makes you scratch your head. Now, it says history and background, U.S. Constitution. Under Article 1 of the United States Constitution, Indians not taxed were not counted in the population of a state for purposes of apportionment. That means, just what? It makes you scratch your head. Indigenous tribes were largely considered to be separate nations with citizenship and treaty rights, so their people were not considered to be citizens of the United States. Now, the Supreme Court in Dred Scott versus Sanford in 1857 said that Native people could become citizens, although their acquisition of citizenship was by way of naturalization, meaning basically you're not born here in this country, you have to become naturalized. That is not by birth within the United States territory. Isn't that something? In their own country, they weren't even considered citizens. That is a head scratcher. Really, times have changed, thank goodness. Now they, the Indian tribes, may without doubt, like the subjects of any foreign government, be naturalized by the authority of Congress and become citizens of a state and of the United States. And if an individual should leave his nation or tribe and take up his abode among the white population, he would be entitled to all the rights and privileges which would belong to an immigrant from any other foreign people. Wow. Yeah, an immigrant in your own country. That's a slap in the face. Or that's like getting hit in the face with a dead fish. That's just terrible. Now, it says here, after the American Civil War, the Civil Rights Act of 1866, ratified in 1870 after the 14th Amendment came into effect, repeated this exclusion, declaring that all persons born in the United States and not subject to any foreign power, excluding Indians, not taxed, are hereby declared to be citizens of the United States. So I guess it's saying here because Native Americans weren't taxed, they weren't citizens, even though this was their country first, or at least their land first, right? That's just like, what? That's the head scratcher right there. What a different mentality we lived in way back when. 14th Amendment says in 1868, declared all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof were citizens. However, the jurisdiction, can't even say that, requirement was interpreted to exclude most Native Americans. And in 1870, the Senate Judiciary Committee further clarified the matter. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution has no effect whatever upon the status of the Indian tribes within the limits of the United States. Now, it says here about 8% of the native population at the time qualified for U.S. citizenship because they were taxed. There's that word again. It's all about money, isn't it? It seems that way. Now, others obtained citizenship by serving in the military, marrying whites, or accepting land allotments, such as those granted under the Dawes Act. That's something. Now, I got to go back to the top and read this because this is really important, all right? It says here, this act of 1924 was proposed by U.S. Representative Homer P. Snyder, all right, Republican out of New York, and signed into law by President Calvin Coolidge on June 2, 1924. Now, it says here, and it was enacted partially in recognition of the thousands of Native Americans who served in the armed forces during the First World War. Now, isn't that something? It kind of reminds me of the Irish getting their citizenship if they fought in the Civil War. And not only that, but I think recently I saw a member of the government say that, hey, we need a lot of foreigners to come to the country, and maybe we can give them citizenship if they go fight for us in our military. So nothing's changed in that way. I think that's pretty much a standard operating procedure for this particular, I guess, immigrants coming to this country. No surprise there. Now, let's go to those plus ones. This is about cowardice. And I put cowardice because, well, I did Native Americans, which we all know from our history books, they were super brave, and they were called Braves. I mean, there's the Atlanta Braves, right? Well, I did the opposite of that, and I put cowardice. Now, I put here, there's no cure for cowardice. If you have nothing to lose, at least be brave, because you'd be surprised how often nerve succeeds. Now, let's head over here to 99.9 KOI and Coin News Radio. Yeah, there we go. This is off the Rolling Stones album, Let It Bleed. Song is entitled here, You Can't Always Get What You Want, but after that is You Get What You Need. Isn't that something? Now, this was the very first Rolling Stones album I ever heard, and I thought this was the strangest album cover ever. It's got like a cake, some figurines up top. It looks like a tire, a pizza, a clock, and maybe some celluloid from a movie. And then below that, a record with an old school, looks like one of those old school phonograph record needles. Isn't that something? Well, with all that said, folks, I want to thank you all for coming. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you do like what you hear and see, well, subscribe to the channel. It's free. And if you already subscribed, please consider becoming a member. It's only $1.99 a month. $1.99 a month. That's nothing. Yeah. Stacker out.